You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community, and I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Beautiful moon and Venus tonight. Mercury's upcoming square to Uranus retrograde, and Page of Pentagrams. Good feelings, prosperous intentions, and something unexpected. Daily horoscope check-in for Thursday, September 5th, 2024, and a little bit about Saturday. Good morning, friends. If you're in the northern hemisphere and the weather is clear, Venus and the moon will be visible in the night sky for probably about an hour after sunset. The moon will be to the left of Venus. If you were lucky enough to see them together last night, the crescent moon would have been to the right of Venus just after sunset. I was not able to see them last night, but I am hoping to spot them later tonight. There are two big transits coming up this weekend, September 7th through the 8th, 2024. Mercury in Leo will square Uranus retrograde for the third and final time during this current cycle on Saturday, and the Sun will oppose Saturn retrograde on Sunday. Both planets, Mercury and the Sun, have entered into the 3 degrees of engagement range to Uranus and Saturn, respectively, and we may start to see these archetypes start to speak in our lives. So for simplicity, I will go over Mercury square Uranus in today's horoscope and the Sun opposite Saturn in tomorrow's, in addition to the daily transits of the moon. Okay, let's get into the astrology. Today's transits, all times are in Eastern Time unless mentioned otherwise. Early in the morning, the moon in Libra met up with the South Node and then Venus. This is a much different energy than yesterday, and that Venus and the moon in Libra are about love, affection, romance, and pleasant feelings. The moon passed the South Node right before joining Venus, so there could be the feeling of surrendering to love or giving into something beautiful, sensual, or glamorous. Do be careful, as this combination may mean ignoring the red flags you have about someone or something, which could lead to disappointment. Additionally, the moon, Venus, in the South Node may mean breakups and sadness and love, and on the other hand, could signify feeling spiritually drawn to something pleasurable and surrendering to it. Only you know if your situation is safe and consensual, so please use your best judgment. At 9:26 a.m., the Libra moon formed a semi-square to Mercury in Leo, meaning that there is friction in conversations, causing misunderstandings, or things you are trying to get done that just don't happen. You could experience dropped calls, emails bouncing back, or a bit of writer's block with this one. Or your husband could come in while you're writing the daily horoscope and ask you to help him take his truck to the shop, meaning you have to drop what you're doing, get dressed, don't judge, I write in my PJs, follow him in your car to the mechanic shop, drop off the vehicle, and then drive back. This could be very frustrating as it delays your whole plan for the morning. Seriously, this happened as I was typing this transit. You can't make this stuff up. To make it even better, the truck stalled on the way to the shop, and he is currently waiting for the tow truck to arrive. Hopefully, I can get this horoscope published before he needs me to pick him up. In the afternoon at 1:08 p.m., the moon in Libra makes a sesquiquadrate to Uranus in Taurus retrograde, indicating something spontaneous or willful taking place, and creating a delay or setback that you then have to wait for, like a random animal crossing the freeway causing a temporary traffic jam, or a rooster crowing outside your window while you're trying to read the horoscope. It's something you don't see every day that causes delays. Or it could come as a sudden idea or feeling that you have to write down or act on right now that adds to something you're doing, but you can't actually act on it at the moment. You have to wait until your schedule opens up. In the evening at 9:10 p.m., the Libra moon perfects her quincunx to Saturn in Pisces retrograde, so there could be a change or separation from something serious, old, or tired that could bring up feelings that are melancholic and sad, and the Libra moon doesn't like to feel melancholic or sad at all, so this could be a bit of a downer. Let's talk about Mercury's final square to Uranus retrograde. Mercury square Uranus. Mercury will square Uranus in Taurus on Saturday, September 7th, 2024, when he hits 27 degrees Leo, 14 minutes. You can see Mercury in Leo at the bottom of the chart at 6 o'clock and Uranus in Taurus retrograde on the left-hand side of the chart at 9 o'clock. Mercury squared Uranus 2 times prior to this, first during his pre-retrograde period on July 21st, 2024, and then for the second time during his retrograde on August 18th, 2024. So this final square closes out this Mercury-Uranus square energy. On July 22nd, 2024, I published a post where I discussed Mercury's first square to Uranus in this cycle. I wrote, quote, Mercury square Uranus means that there was a surprise message or a surprise thought or idea that popped into your head that may have caused a bit of trouble. Perhaps the message wasn't a great one to get or disrupted what you were doing and it kind of pissed you off. Or perhaps the idea that you got was a good one, but it needs a lot of work to flesh out. Whatever the case, communication could have suddenly been off or disrupted in some way. I know in the States the surprising news on Sunday was that Biden dropped out of the presidential race. I also just found out this weekend, sadly, that Shannon Doherty died nearly a week ago on July 13th, 2024, which I had not heard until then. R.I.P. Brenda Walsh, unquote. And on August 16th, I published a post where I talked about Mercury's cazimi, conjunction with the Sun, square Uranus. Quote, Mercury retrograde in Leo will form a square to Uranus in Taurus. This transit by itself means shocking news, revelations, and revolutionary activity within yourself or in the world. With Mercury in Leo, this could be something very dramatic, news that feels loud, facts that hit home, or messages coming in that really take you by surprise. When Mercury conjoins the Sun, it is called cazimi. The ancients called it being in the heart of the Sun, or on the lap of the king, and it means that for just a little while, the planet that is cazimi has all the power and support of the Sun behind them. So expect big news, huge revelations, and surprise messages where people are telling you how they feel, expressing their love, their thoughts, or their views with dramatic flair. The added square to Uranus during this cazimi means that whatever news or messages Mercury is bringing is meant to shock, surprise, and obliterate whatever you thought you knew before. I can't say for sure what the messages will be, but I can say that they will be shocking, from the heart, and possibly revolutionary, unquote. Think back to what you were doing or experiencing on or around those dates. I know for me, the first square happened during my stomach bug weekend from hell. It was also a full moon, Mars trine Pluto, and Sun trine Neptune. And the second one triggered an argument with my husband. Venus was opposing Saturn, remember? Even though we don't always know what Uranus will bring, we can be sure it will be something that feels sudden and a bit disruptive. So think back to those previous two squares because there could be a repeating theme. To summarize, Mercury square Uranus can indicate, as I've mentioned, sudden disruptive events or feelings coming up that can manifest as surprising announcements, conversations, news, issues with your transportation, in your immediate environment, or people you are working with. It could also mean fights, arguments, and misunderstandings. Additionally, some may experience accidents and injuries, especially having to do with the mind, head, or brain, because Mercury governs our thinking and intellect, but since Mercury is in Leo, this could also involve the heart, literally or metaphorically. It's always a good idea when anything squares Uranus to be mindful of your actions and surroundings as much as possible. Another interesting thing in this chart is that the moon is at 29 degrees Libra, 31 minutes, so the last degree of Libra, and as such, she is applying to square Pluto in Capricorn retrograde. This is a really intense transit that could feel very emotionally challenging. The moon square Pluto at the same time as Mercury squaring Uranus means that whatever sudden and unexpected thing is happening, we are feeling a lot of deep and possibly painful feelings about it. Moon and Pluto in hard aspect can bring up questions about survival and worrisome thoughts about significant women in your life, especially the mother, and it could also mean something in your life is going through an irrevocable change. The moon represents our emotions and feelings, but she also symbolizes the ups and downs and cycles of life, the changes and the things that come to be and pass away, just like the phases of the moon and the ocean tides, which she controls. So there could be something that is forced into an irrevocable change, suddenly and unexpectedly, with these transits happening at the same time. Add on the fact that the very next day is the Sun's opposition to Saturn, and you have a recipe for a very big, heavy shift. We will talk about the Sun and Saturn tomorrow. Let's move on to the tarot card for the day. The tarot card. Let's see what the cards have to say. Please upgrade your subscription to listen to the tarot card reading. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.